All right. So first off, Trump is fine. So he's okay. The reports are that Trump is fine. He's going to be okay. I'm seeing differing reports on the crowd from the major news outlets. I've seen that 2 spectators were killed. I've seen a report that it's 1 and then 1 injured. Another one, it's on Fox News saying it's just 2 people injured. Pray for those people. But there's a lot unfolding, and it's unfolding very fast. So this is obviously an assassination attempt on Donald Trump. Even I think even NBC or CNN, even CNN at this point is admitting that. They weren't earlier. They were some kind of fairly typical headlines you'd expect from them about, Trump heard some pops and got scared, that sort of thing earlier. We'll see if we can find some of those during this stream. But I think what happened is, and this was from CNN, from MSNBC and other sources too. And I think what happened was all of a sudden they realized, holy shit, no, this is real. This is serious. We can't do what we normally do. We got to try and play this one straight. So first off, let's get to the video. So I'm sure probably most people have already seen this, but let's see what actually happened first.
We see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Just 1 second. I need to check something. Okay, so let's go back through this a little bit, just the beginning.
We see something that said, take a look at what happened.
You can see there, he touches his ear. The shots ring out, he touches his ear.
Move it, spare. Hold. When you're ready, on you.
Ready?
Move.
Up.
Move. Go.
Hawkeye's here.
Move it to the spare.
Spare, get ready.
We ready? Are we good? Shooters down. Are we good to move?
We're clear.
Let's move. Let's move.
We're clear.
Come on.
Let me get my shoes.
I got you, sir.
Let me get my shoes.
Hold that in your head. It's bloody.
So we got to move to the class. What's up?
You can see there's blood on the side of his face. So he was obviously grazed by a bullet.
Wait.
Yeah, you can see the blood on his ear there. So for one thing, the election's over. That's it now. That's it. Oh, let's go back. But look at this.
Get my shoes.
Hold that in your head. It's bloody.
So we got to move to the class. Let me get my shoes. What's up?
Okay. So Trump is a badass. This now just puts any question to rest. Trump is a badass. He's, Teddy Roosevelt level badass at this point. He's saying fight. Launchpad says, let me get my shoes. Love this guy. I know. Like any question of whether or not Trump was actually a badass, this puts it to rest right here. How many people wouldn't be off that stage in a second? He's standing there fist pumping. You don't know if there's somebody else out in the crowd. He doesn't know that. Launchpad says, God, please watch over him. My condolences to the poor person who was killed. Might have very well possibly saved the president's life. Well, again, there's conflicting information about that. That'll clear up. We're still in kind of that kind of fog of war stage right now. There's conflicting reports. I'm sure by tonight we'll know for sure. And we'll look at the updated news as it comes in as well. But most people, I mean, again, Trump doesn't know if there's another shooter there. Yet he's like, no, let me get my shoes. And he wants to fist pump. He wants to say fight to the crowd before he goes off. How many people wouldn't have been off that stage in a second? How many people wouldn't have crawled off that stage? Trump is a badass. That's just settled now forever. All right? That's just over now. And thank God he's okay. I wonder if the far left media, the CNNs and the MSNBCs and the New York Times, I wonder if they'll be talking about stochastic terrorism anytime soon. I wonder if they'll just leave that alone for a while. I think we know the answer to that. All right. So we're going to go straight into some information on the shooter that's come in. And there's a witness. So let's take a look. This seems to put to bed any question of whether or not this was an assassination. Aside from the fact that, I mean, literally, Trump obviously got grazed by a bullet on his ear. Let's take a look.
Who was here. You weren't inside the event, nope, but you were just outside. Tell us what you saw.
So we had a party here all day. You can see behind us the Brinkles Farming Greenhouse here. We had a party, and we all decided, hey, you know, when we hear Trump up there, we're going to walk up through the field, stand by the trees out there under the shade, and watch and listen to the rally. Right? We couldn't see him, but we could hear him. So we walked up. And probably 5 to 7 minutes of Trump speaking. I'm estimating here. I have no idea, you know. But we noticed a guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us. So we're standing there, and, you know, we're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof.
And he had a gun, right?
He had a rifle. We could clearly see him with a rifle. Absolutely. We're pointing at him. The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, hey, man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police were like, huh, what? You know, like they didn't know what was going on. You know, we're like, hey, right here on the roof. We can see him from right here. We see him. You know, he's crawling. And next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, why is Trump still speaking? Why have they not pulled him off the stage? I'm standing there pointing at him for, 2 or 3 minutes. Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this. And next thing you know, 5 shots rang out.
So you're certain that the shots came from that guy on the roof?
100%.
And he was up there for a couple of minutes.
He was up there.
You saw him up there for a couple of minutes.
Absolutely. At least 3 to 4 minutes.
And you were telling the police and the Secret Service?
We were telling the police. We were pointing at them for the Secret Service, who were looking at us from the top of the barn. They were looking.
So obviously, this is going to start a lot of speculation as to why was this allowed? Why wasn't somebody on top of that guy immediately? The guy with the rifle.
Looking at us the whole time when we were standing by that tree.
Could they see
binoculars?
Could they see him?
Probably not, because the roof, the way the slope went, he was behind where they could see. But why is there not Secret Service on all of these roofs here? I mean, this is not a big place.
Did you see, I mean, obviously everyone, when the shooting started, everyone was very panicked. Did you see what happened to him at all?
Oh, yeah, they blew his head off.
Okay, sorry.
Secret Service blew his head off.
Okay, just be careful, because we don't quite know who's watching, but you're pretty sure they shot the guy?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
Yep.
You saw that happen?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And did you see them go up to him afterwards, or?
They crawled up on the roof. They had their guns pointed at him, make sure he was dead. He was dead, and that was it. It was over.
It's incredibly shocking.
The guy was on the roof right there. You can see the white roof right there.
Did you get a look at him? Could you?
I mean, obviously, this is going to cause a lot of speculation, because it does seem strange, doesn't it? I mean, maybe Trump didn't have sufficient secrets. Maybe they don't give him sufficient secrets. I don't know. There's going to be a lot of questions around that. How the hell? I mean, there's people pointing at him. How the hell does that happen? Stark says that is sus. They took so long. Yeah, yeah. And that's obvious to everybody, isn't it? Launchpad says CNN already posted a picture of Trump with a caption saying Trump fell on stage and needed help off. Yeah, I saw that as well. And yeah, I think what happened was that they just kind of went off on their normal Trump derangement syndrome as normal, as typical. And eventually somebody said, hold on. No, wait a second. This is way too serious. We can't do this. We have to try and at least appear to be a serious news outlet. And since they've changed, by the time I got onto CNN and MSNBC, they changed their headlines from the bullshit they had earlier. Hot Retarded Chick says, of course, how you doing, Hot Retarded Chicks? Good to see you in the chat. Of course he's dead, Doug. Yeah, well, yeah. You're talking about the shooter. And let's continue.
No, other than he was in muted colors, tan type clothing. We saw the rifle flinging around as he was trying to crawl. I mean, we saw the rifle, 100%.
Do you know about guns? Do you know what kind of weapon it was?
Oh, I absolutely know about guns, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it was a rifle of some sort. I wouldn't know, I wasn't close enough to read the label on it, but
sure.
It was a rifle of some sort. Yeah, absolutely.
So how do you process what you've just seen?
I don't know what to say, man. All I'll tell you is, if I walked up close to there with anything that Secret Service considered a problem, I wouldn't be standing here talking to you right now. But I don't know why a guy who we're standing there pointing out to police and Secret Service is crawling up the roof. Yes, right there by that tree. We were outside the security perimeter. But my question is, there's only a few buildings around here. Why is Secret Service not at every building here?
Well, there's a whole bunch of questions, I think, that are going to come.
There's a whole bunch of questions.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's a whole bunch of questions, all right. I mean, after everything that, let's just say, the deep state has done to try and get rid of Trump, all of a sudden, I mean, it seems inconceivable that that opportunity that's been described to us there, that opportunity to that shooter would be open at all. No, but I guess maybe calling somebody Hitler for 8 years in a row is a bad idea. But I'll tell you one thing. We see this, or let's go here. We see these pictures of Trump. I mean, and let's find the other one. The one that's on the thumbnail. Got it in here. Like, look at that. That is iconic. That is iconic. You've got the mugshot, which is iconic. I think we've got that in here somewhere. Hold on one second. Maybe I need to refresh this. Here we go. There's the mugshot. That's iconic. Every time they try and take him out, he just ends up being iconic, right? I mean, it's incredible. We've never seen anything like it before. Let's go for a quick update and just see if we can get some more details. And we'll refresh this page as well. Brain Biscuit says, looking forward to the t-shirt. Oh, that shot of Trump. Well, let's find that again. Hold on. I put this all together in a real hurry. That shot of Trump, that's going to be on t-shirts. That's good. I want one of those. So there's CNN. Let's go to Fox here. Praying for him. And we've got a statement from Biden here too, which we'll take a look at. Live update. So let's see what they got in here. They're saying 2 injured. So the shooter is dead, but they're saying 2 injured. So they're not reporting yet that any of the rally goers have been killed. Let's take a look on MSNBC. We'll refresh that as well. They're saying that the shooter and a spectator are dead. They're saying that an attendee and the shooter are dead. So again, we've got conflicting reports. This will clear itself up over the next hours. James Curtis says the course of this chaos falls at the feet of Democratic politician rhetoric, the vegetable in office and the mainstream media. There was an innocent shot and killed. Yeah, it's looking like that now. But again, we're still getting some conflicting reports on that. But on this port, okay, the guys the people who could not stop talking about so-called stochastic terrorism, right? They're going to be real quiet about that now, aren't they? The people who called Trump Hitler for 8 years straight. The ludicrous, insane, idiotic charge that Trump is Hitler. At that point, you can just call anybody Hitler. But of course, what did they think was going to happen? It almost seems like they wanted something like this to happen. And I'm telling you, the security around this is awfully suspicious, isn't it? Here's President Biden. I have been briefed on the shooting at Donald Trump's rally in Pennsylvania. I'm grateful to hear that he's safe and doing well. I'm praying for him and his family and for all those who are at the rally as we await further information. Jill and I are grateful to the Secret Service for getting him to safety. There's no place for this kind of violence in America. We must unite as one nation and condemn it. I thought you said he was a threat to democracy and he was going to destroy the country. I mean, if you really believed that, why would you put out this statement? Unless you don't believe it. Unless everything that's been happening to Trump in the lawfare front is just simply about you trying to grasp desperately onto power. Maybe that's it. Let's see. Story time with Uncle Kumaran. I think it's the first time I've seen you in the chat. Welcome in. Says these scumbags are cheering. Of course they are. Of course they are. In fact, I want to show you a tweet from a journalist here. This is actually a Canadian journalist. And Canadian journalists just fall in line. Not all of them. There's some really good ones in Canada, but many of them, the leftist ones, just fall in line completely with the most hysterical takes from the U.S. media. This is the media in Canada that's subsidized by the government. Let's see. What does he say? Andrew Coyne. Among the many ways this is terrible, beyond the general rule that political violence is always wrong, it is going to make Trump even more of a hero to his followers. The cult worship will now be off the charts. Now get this part. Get this part. This took him 2 minutes to flip it around. It is going to embolden, incite his more violent followers. It took him 2 seconds to flip it around, didn't it? It is going to push some who were not disposed to violence to justify it to themselves. Yet his followers didn't shoot him. They didn't try and kill him. Trump's followers didn't try to kill anybody. Okay? They just can't let it go. The left just simply can't let their delusions go. I mean, imagine being an adult and writing this. Can you imagine? It's going to be used as rhetorical ammunition against his critics, as if any of them had ever called for violence. You are the people of stochastic terrorism. You are the people that accuse Tucker Carlson of being responsible for something that happened halfway across the fucking world. Jesus, these people have no shame. Good God damn it, these people have no shame. And it's going to make Trump even more bent on revenge if he gets elected. Fuck you. Somebody just tried to kill the man. It looks like he came within an inch of being murdered. I mean, this only makes sense in loony, far left land. Let's hear from Clay Travis. Let's see what he has to say. I think this is going to be the attitude of a lot of people.
News appears to be an attempted assassination attempt of President Trump. What an unbelievable, first of all, prayers. It appears, reports are that he's going to be fine. You could see him leaving with blood on his ear from what appears to be a shot that narrowly missed hitting him in the head. Instead, it appeared that it grazed him. What an absolute fucking beast of a guy. To have an assassination attempt like this in Pennsylvania, immediately react to let everybody else know by pumping your fist that you're okay, waving. I've never seen anything like it. This is fucking unacceptable. If you watch Outkick or if you listen to Clay and Buck, I have been saying, I just said that with his lead right now, it was inevitable that some left-wing lunatic was going to try to take him out. It's unfucking acceptable that this could happen in the United States, that we could have a situation where all these fucking left-wing lunatics who have tried to call him Hitler for the past 8 years, this is what you caused. I fucking hate all of you. I hope you own it. God bless President Trump and everyone out there who believes in the United States of fucking America. What an unbelievable moment. But I hope all of these lunatics think about what they have fucking caused. They tried to kill Kavanaugh. Now they've tried to kill Trump. I'm fucking over it. This is ridiculous. God bless America. God bless President Trump. Prayers up for everybody. Thank you to the Secret Service who got there rapidly and helped to protect him. But this should never fucking happen. It's been 2 generations since somebody tried to kill Reagan. I hoped I would never see it in my life. Prayers up for President Trump. And if you don't know how you're fucking going to vote, you better know now. Landslide, Trump wins 2024. Keep him motherfucking safe. That's it.
Yeah, I think the election's over. And I don't even think it matters who they put against him now at all. I think that's just over. That conversation is over. And Trump has just made himself. I mean, let's take a look at the video again. Let's take a look at the video again of the actual assassination attempt. Okay.
We see something that said, take a look at what happened.
So he reaches over, touches his ear, where he's come within an inch of being murdered, right? Now let's see when he gets back up again. Okay, now I think 99% of politicians at this point, 99.9% of politicians at this point, they're fucking crawling off the stage. Secret Service is trying to get him out of there right now, this second. They're trying to get him out of there yesterday, right? What does Trump do? Because keep in mind, they don't know if there's another shooter in there at this point.
Let me get my shoes. Let me get my shoes.
I got you, sir. I got you, sir.
Let me get my shoes, sir.
Hold that in your head. It's bloody.
So we gotta move to the bus. Let me get my shoes.
He's saying, let me get my shoes. What do you think Biden would be thinking about in that moment? He'd probably be pulling Secret Service agents on top of him.
Watch out.
Wait.
I mean, that's iconic. That's iconic. This is it. Aside from just the history, I mean, obviously, look, if the entire world isn't a giant totalitarian communist dictatorship in 100 years, you know, there'll be books about this. People will be looking at that image. People will be wearing the image of him on their t-shirt. This image here. Where is it? This one right here. In 100 years, if we're not in a giant totalitarian communist dictatorship, people will be wearing that on T-shirts in 100 years. It'll be the new Shay. I mean, that's the thing. We see this stuff, and the news comes at us so fast these days. It's almost like this is incredibly historic. And they seem to be incapable of going after Trump and going after the king without making him look even more iconic. There he is with blood on his face, blood on his ear. He's just almost been murdered. And there he is saying, fight, fist pumping. They're trying to get him the hell out of there. I think if they let him, he would have just continued the speech like Teddy Roosevelt. When he was almost assassinated and actually continued with the speech. So yeah, the election's over at this point. And look at the MAGA people. They don't run. The MAGA people don't run. That tells you something there, doesn't it? They don't get the hell out of there. I mean, isn't there something about that you just kind of go, holy shit, wow. Look at them. All right, let me just get into the chat here. So James Curtis is saying Trump got hit first, then two people in the audience. A man shot in the back of the head died immediately. Jesus. Woman was shot in the arm. Well, again, I'm seeing conflicting reports. We'll go back and we'll update. And we'll update those reports and see what they're saying. Stark is saying Biden's impromptu video earlier about this was impressive. He managed to speak clear. Yeah, I watched that. It looked like he almost had a thinly disguised little smile on his face. Almost, I thought it was a really weird, creepy thing. Well, I'm sure we'll probably look at that. James Curtis says, "Who believes Biden understands what just happened?" Obama had to come out condemning political violence. Yeah, they're all going to come out and say, the people that have been calling him Hitler for 8 years. I mean, if you want people to truly believe that somebody is Hitler, what do you think? What do you expect? I mean, they're not just that he's like, no, literal Hitler. Not just that he's like a Hitler-esque figure. No, literal Hitler. Let's see. Launchpad says, if the cackling hens, I call them front holes, personally. If the cackling hens on The View say anything negative, they should be taken off the air. I don't know. The network just might take them off without any prompting. Let's see. James Curtis says, the minds of the left are poison. Let's see. Stark says they called him Hitler because the TV said it. It's essentially socially engineered situation. Yeah, I mean, a giant campaign to paint him as a dictator, threat to democracy. He's going to destroy the country. He's going to become a dictator. All of that. What do you expect is going to happen? Again, I don't think we're going to hear much about stochastic terrorism from these stochastic terrorism people for a while. Although, I don't know. They're so shameless. Who knows? I mean, I just showed you this journalist whose immediate response is to just do exactly what you would expect. Let's go back to that for a second. Where is it? I feel like Twitter is fucking with me sometimes and just hiding shit. God damn it. Hold on. Here we go. So let's see. Right off the bat, this guy says his predictions are that it's going to embolden the attempted assassination of Trump. The real problem with it is that it's going to embolden and incite all those violent Trump followers. I mean, you can't make it up. The shamelessness, or maybe it's just the delusion. Who knows? Let's see. Storytime says the world became a shittier place today. This is the result of the whipping the idiots into a frenzy for 7 years. What do you expect? Yeah, I can't disagree with that. All right. Let's take a quick look and see if we have any updates. So what have we got? They're saying the rally shooter dead. Trump, okay, blah, blah, okay. We know all that. We've got a statement from Trump, so we'll get to that in just a second. So, okay, we've got to confirm now. 1 spectator killed as well as the gunman. Okay, so that is confirmed. Jesus. Yeah, you're right, Storytime. The world just became a shittier place. It's fucking awful. And the people who I believe consciously encourage this, you'll never hear a word of regret out of them. Not a word. They'll go right back to it again. They'll go straight back to Hitler again, probably by tomorrow. You know what? In fact, they're so shameless. I could almost guarantee that some teleprompter reader on CNN or MSNBC will speculate about how after Trump went down behind the podium that he cut himself to make himself seem more sympathetic or something. Would you be surprised? Would you be surprised if you saw that? I wouldn't be. I mean, what have we seen already? What hasn't been insane? We've seen every hoax there is, the suckers and losers thing, everything down to that he's got a larger salt and pepper shaker than everybody else. I mean, really, there is no limit to the shamelessness. There's no bottom. It's a bottomless pit. All right, let's watch Biden speak here.
Tell me, folks. I've been thoroughly briefed by all the agencies in the federal government as to the situation, based on what we know now. I have tried to get a hold of Donald. He's with his doctors. Apparently he's doing well. I plan on talking to him shortly, I hope, when I get back to the telephone. Look, there's no place in America for this kind of violence. It's sick. It's sick. It's one of the reasons why we have to unite this country. We cannot allow for this to be happening. We cannot be like this. We cannot condone this. And so I want to thank the Secret Service and all the agencies, including the state agencies, that have engaged in making sure that people who, and we have more detail to come relative to other people maybe injured in the audience. I don't have all that detail. We'll make that available to you. I may be able to come back a little later tonight, but we'll put out a statement if we don't. If I'm not able to if it's not convenient for you all. But the bottom line is that the Trump rally was a rally that he should have been able to be conducted peacefully without any problem. But the idea that there's political violence or violence in America like this is just unheard of. It's just not appropriate. Everybody must condemn it. Everybody. I'll keep you informed, and if I'm able to speak to Donald, I'll let you know that as well. So far, it appears he's doing well, number one. Number two, that they're thoroughly investigating what happened to anyone else in the audience. We have some reports, but not final reports. And every agency in the federal government, I'm going back to my phone to speak with the federal agencies that are being put together again to give me an updated briefing. Has anything happened? They learned any more in the last couple hours. So thank you very much, and I hope I get to speak to them tonight, and I'll get back to you if I do. Okay?
Mr. President.
What a load of bullshit. Actually, let's finish that because I thought that was finished. Hold on one sec. We got a little bit more there.
Do you think this was an assassination attempt?
I don't know enough. I have an opinion, but I don't have any facts. So I want to make sure we have all the facts before I make any more comments. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, shots fired, Trump's bleeding. So James Curtis says, little too late, Joe. Yeah, and by the way, I mean, what Joe's been telling the world that Trump is the greatest threat to democracy in the world. The greatest threat. He's going to destroy American democracy. So did he believe that or not? Because hearing that, it doesn't sound like he actually believes that very much, does it? It sounds like he's just saying bullshit. It sounds like he's just trying to trick people to desperately cling on to power. Let's see. James Curtis says Reiner and De Niro. Yeah, Rob Reiner and De Niro will be leading the charge. You're talking about with the crazy shit. With the crazy shit about now, oh, the real threat now is Trump supporters. Stark says, can't be hard to find liberals celebrating this. Of course they will be. They've been trained to, right? They've been trained to. I'm sure there's giant bubbles on social media right now, all talking about it. And, you know, with, oh, well, voting it had worked. Guaranteed. They've been trained to think that way. They've been trained to think that way by people like Biden and by the teleprompter readers that they watch. Like if you watch MSNBC, right? And I don't watch cables. I'm not like a guy sitting around watching Fox News all day. Trust me. All right. But if you're watching, say, MSNBC, well, if that's all you get your news from, well, you think that Trump is new Hitler. You think he's worse. You know, you don't know anything about, you're not worried about anybody being the new Stalin, of course, or the new Mao, right? You're not worried about that at all, because apparently that's fine, right? But you would think that he was a threat, not a threat to the country, to their lives. So what would you expect? You know, those people, obviously those people, the people that are brainwashed are going to celebrate it. They think that they're in World War II right now because Rachel Maddow told them so. All right, let's look for some other updates too. Let's go to MSNBC. And again, they took down their bullshit. They took down their bullshit headlines earlier after they realized, oh, maybe we can't do what we normally do right now. Maybe that's not going to work. Yeah, shooter and one spectator did. Okay, so yeah, we're definitely getting confirmation. Let's see. Former president says he was shot in his right ear and is fine. Yeah, we can see it. We could see him hold his hand up to his ear. Just think about that. Think of how close it was. How close? An inch more, half an inch. This is a totally different stream. An attendee at the rally and the shooter are dead. Okay, so yeah, let's go into okay, let's see if we can find any more updates coming through on Twitter, because most of the news seems to come through Twitter first before it gets to the mainstream media. Yeah, so we've got Elon Musk. He's now all in with Trump. I fully endorse President Trump and hope for his rapid recovery. So that's not surprising because the Biden administration has been going after him ever since he took over X, formerly Twitter. So because of the whole free speech thing, they don't like it. But this has sealed the deal for him. Blair White says Donald Trump took a bullet for this country. If you're voting for anyone else, you can go fuck yourself. That's where I'm at. Let's see. Brendan Dilley says there will never be another. There will never be another like President Trump. He gets shot, stands up, and is still defiant to the deep state. God bless this man. Yeah, I mean, this is iconic. This is absolutely iconic. Let's see. How about this? Dave Portnoy. I just landed and missed an assassination attempt. I think that's what he meant to write. Holy shit. What a badass reaction from Trump. The election is over. He's the next president. The Dems should give up. They can't beat him now. So let's see. Somebody on here is saying false flag retards. Oh, that makes perfect sense. So it's a false flag where they just they got a sniper to just graze Trump's ear from God knows how far away to make it look like an assassination attempt. Who are the retards? Exactly. I'm not sure you understand what the meaning of the word retard is. Yeah, just a simple operation, really. I mean, it starts with the fact that all you have to do is just barely miss hitting Trump in the head. Genius. That's genius analysis right there. What do you people think? What do you guys think? Let's see. What else we got here? Vivek Ramaswamy says, grateful to President Trump for his sacrifice. Grateful to God for protecting him. Let's not forget that this isn't the first time something like this was attempted. 2016 Donald Trump Las Vegas rally incident. At a June 18th, 2016 rally for presumptive nominee Donald Trump's presidential campaign in Las Vegas, Nevada, Michael Steven Sanford attempted to grab the pistol of a Las Vegas Metropolitan Police officer providing security for the event. So this is going back all the way to 2016. In fact, it's amazing that something like this hasn't happened even earlier, considering the level of just hysterical lunacy that has surrounded the Trump narrative on main. I'm not talking about like far left blogs. I'm about on mainstream media. I'm talking about nationally famous figures like Rachel Maddow and Joy Reid on a major news station, on MSNBC, not to mention CNN, not to mention the hysterical, ludicrous things that have been written about him in the Washington Post and the New York Times and got a million other places. But not coming from, some obscure far left communist blog or something. Coming from the mainstream media, the most powerful people in media. It's amazing that there haven't been 10 of these attempts so far. All right. Let's get back in here. I had a few other things. Again, you have to go back to this, the most iconic, legendary president of all time. He's already survived the unthinkable. God bless President Trump. Yeah, I mean, he turns these moments he turns these into just iconic moments, like the mugshot, right? That was supposed to be the end of him. He turns it into something iconic. You go for the king, you better take out the king. I guess that's an old saying, right? So this also here, this video here, I think this was one of the spectators. This was the spectator that was killed, I believe. The shooter himself, this guy was talking about, that he witnessed with a rifle climb onto a roof. There's another video I've got here that shows purportedly that's him on the roof right there. Let's make that a little bit larger.
Lá em cima, né? Aqui, ó. You can see the guy there. I think they hit him because the guy he looks dead. Tá vendo? Lá em cima, né? Aqui, ó. I think they hit him because the guy
So there's another image going around. We might find that as well, of an Antifa guy, or somebody they're claiming is an Antifa guy who's they're saying that the local police there are saying that he was the shooter. Doesn't look anything like this guy. The guy is much heavier, unless the guy went on a massive diet since the photo. Also, this guy looks to me like he's white, and the other guy isn't. So I think the other image, and we'll see if we can find that at some point. I don't. That doesn't look very valid to me. This looks like it's genuinely. Can see people with the Trump hats on here. This looks as solid as that's the guy. And why there would be nobody around him there, though, that's another thing. But I think right now, we can assume that is. Although again, we're still in that kind of fog of war phase, and things will things will clear up, or maybe they'll be obscured as we go. I don't know. You know what the media is like these days. How about this from Mostly Peaceful Memes? If Trump is responsible for January 6th, Biden is responsible for this. Let's see. Kenneth P. Vogel. Biden told donors on a private call this afternoon, quote, "It's time to put Trump in the bullseye." So that's from the 8th. Now, I don't go in for this whole stochastic terrorism bullshit. You know, I don't think you can blame somebody for a public statement they made that some lunatic, you know, that caused some. I don't think you can blame them for what some lunatic did. So I don't really go in for this, but the point here is valid that, hey, if Trump's responsible for January 6th, he told people to go home, or he told them to march peacefully and patriotically, and then he told them to go home. Well, if he's responsible for that, Biden's responsible for this. I mean, that's the game they play, right? Let's see. James Curtis says that was a shooter for sure. They were saying it came from buildings behind the stage. Yeah, and that looks like the building that was being described in the BBC interview that I was showing you earlier. Stark says grassy knoll all over again. Well, it's awfully suspicious, isn't it? It's awfully suspicious when you see the interview with this guy. Let's go back and take another look. I think it's worth taking a second look at this interview.
Someone who was here, you weren't inside the event,
Nope.
but you were just outside. Tell us what you saw. And
Let me know if you guys can hear that okay.
So we had a party here all day. You can see behind us at the Brinkles Farming Greenhouse here. We had a party. And we all decided, hey, you know, when we hear Trump up there, we're going to walk up through the field, stand by the trees out there under the shade, and watch and listen to the rally, right? We couldn't see him, but we could hear him. So we walked up, and probably 5 to 7 minutes of Trump speaking. I'm estimating here. I have no idea, you know. But we noticed a guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us. So we're standing there, and, you know, we're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof.
he had a gun, right?
He had a rifle. We could clearly see him with a rifle. Absolutely. We're pointing at him. The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, hey, man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police were like, huh, what? You know, like they didn't know what was going on. You know, we're like, hey, right here on the roof. We can see him from right here. We see him. You know, he's crawling. And next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, why is Trump still speaking? Why have they not pulled him off the stage? I'm standing there.
Why is Trump still speaking? Why haven't they pulled him off the stage? Boy, it's awfully suspicious, isn't it? Awfully suspicious. Let's keep in mind, I mean, that bullet, it grazed his ear, Trump's ear. It grazed his ear. Just a slight bit closer, and it's all over. It's awfully suspicious. I mean, people are going to be talking about this for a long time, and they should. Because what the fuck?
They're pointing at him for, 2 or 3 minutes. Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this. And next thing you know, 5 shots rang out.
So you're certain that the shots came from that guy on the roof?
100%. 100%.
And he was up there for a couple of minutes.
He was up there.
You saw him up there for a couple of minutes.
Absolutely. At least 3 to 4 minutes.
And you were telling the police and the Secret Service?
We were telling the police. We were pointing at them for the Secret Service, who were looking at us from the top of the barn. They were looking at us the whole time when we were standing by that tree.
Could they see
binoculars?
Could they see him?
Probably not, because the roof, the way the slope went, he was behind where they could see. But why is there not Secret Service on all of these roofs here? I mean, this is not a big place.
Did you see? I mean, obviously, everyone.
It's all sounding really suspicious, right? It's kind of inexplicable.
When the shooting started, everyone was very panicked. Did you see what happened to him at all?
Oh yeah, they blew his head off.
Okay, sorry.
Secret Service blew his head off.
Okay, just be careful because we don't quite know who's watching. But you're pretty sure they shot the guy.
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
Yep.
You saw that happen?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And did you see them go up to him afterwards, or?
They crawled up on the roof. They had their guns pointed at him, make sure he was dead. He was dead, and that was it. It was over.
It's incredibly shocking.
The guy was on the roof right there. You can see the white roof right there.
Did you get a look at him? Could you?
I no, other than he was in muted colors, tan.
Said white roof. White roof. So let's take a look at that other video. Okay, where is it? Swear to God, X is fucking with me constantly. It's taking things in and out of my bookmarks. Oh, I know why. Okay, because we're on that post. All right, hold on. Bookmarks. No, that's not the one. Let's see. Trump shooter. That's the one that we want. Here we go. Okay, white roof, he's saying. Yeah, white roof right there. The whole thing seems awful strange. James Curtis is saying, I'm wondering if they waited until he took his shot before taking out the shooter. Well, I mean, if they really didn't know he was there, which just seems impossible to me. I mean, that doesn't seem like it would be very easy to hide right there on a roof when you've got security everywhere. That just seems odd to me. But if they genuinely didn't know he was there, well, then, yeah, I mean, they'd hear the shot and then you'd get him. But it just seems impossible. Like, impossible. How is he's not camouflaged there, right? I mean, I guess more details will come out as we go, but the whole thing seems a bit odd to me right now. Stark says, first time this happens in the media age with so many cameras and interviews. True. The shooter from Curtis, it says the shooter only got maybe 3 to 6 shots off. It sounded like there were a total of 7 shots. Yes, that's true. So yeah, I want to know what you guys think about all of this, because I'm basically, it's Saturday. I'm waking up from a nap, and I look at my phone, and all this is going on. I'm just putting stuff together real quick, and going live. So I want to know what. So I haven't considered everything about this yet. So I'd like to know what you guys think. I see that Rumble is really quiet in the chat. YouTube is pretty much dominating the chat right now. So Rumble, I want to know what you guys think. All right, have we got anything else in here that we haven't looked at yet? Babylon B, party that called Trump Hitler for 8 years, shocked as someone tries to assassinate him. Yeah. From Malcolm Flex, President Trump literally had an assassination attempt on his life, and the man in possibly what is the coolest moment since Theodore Roosevelt giving a speech after getting shot, raises his fist telling people to fight. You can see the blood on him there. I mean, again, 99.99% of modern politicians are fucking crawling off that stage. They are crawling off it. They're pulling the Secret Service on top of themselves to protect themselves. Trump, they're trying to get him off. And he's like, no, I want my shoes. I want my shoes. He wants to say fight. He wants to fist pump with the crowd. Let everybody know he's okay. Like 99.9%, never mind just regular people, 99.9% of politicians are crawling off that fucking stage. They're paralyzed with fear. I mean, come on. Nobody can ever say that Trump is not a badass after this. I mean, this is one of the most iconic moments in American political history. No question. I mean, this will be the most iconic thing that anybody does for the next 10 years anywhere in the world, probably. How about this from Patrick Bet David? Shots fired at Trump rally. Character assassination failed. Attempt to deplete savings failed. Attempt to silence failed. Only option left, actual assassination attempt. Failed. I've been saying repeatedly, double down on private security. Yeah. Let's repeat that. Character assassination. Failed. Attempt to deplete savings. Failed. Attempt to silence. Failed. Only option left, actual assassination attempt. Failed. We've been talking about this, haven't we? We've been talking about this. You know, what's the next step? Everything they've done to try and take out, and we know what we're talking about when we say they, right? We're talking about the deep state. We're talking about the collaboration, the kind of very fascistic collaboration between the leftist political establishment, and just to some extent, absolutely to some extent, the conservative political establishment and the media and the security agencies, the CIA, the FBI. Everything they've done to try and take out Trump. With everything they've done, I mean, these bizarre legal cases, these novel legal theories they've used, the changing like the statutes of limitations to be able to charge them with things they wouldn't have been able to charge them with, turning misdemeanors into felonies. With everything they've done, they've tried to bankrupt them. With everything they've done, what wouldn't they do? That's the speculation. I'm not the only person who's wondered about that. How far are they really willing to go? Now, I'm not saying that this was arranged. We don't know, right? We may never know. It could have been. I mean, look, if you're telling millions of people that Hitler is going to be your leader in November, well, you got hundreds of millions of people. Some of them are going to be fucking bonkers, right? Some of them are going to be total nut bars. So, yeah, I mean, there's plenty of lunatics, far left lunatics, commies, all the rest, that are ready to do something insane. They just need somebody to point them in the right direction. But again, it's not crazy to wonder. It's not crazy to wonder, with everything they've done to try and destroy the man, that what's off limits for them? Is there anything that is off limits? Now, on that topic, here's Tucker Carlson. Let's hear what he had to say. This is from a while ago. This is from Adam Carolla. So I think this was, this was months ago at least.
They called him names. He won anyway. They impeached him twice on ridiculous pretenses. They fabricated a lot about what happened on January 6th in order to impeach him again. It didn't work. He came back. Then they indicted him. It didn't work. He became more popular. Then they indicted him 3 more times. And every single time his popularity rose. So if you begin with criticism, then you go to protest, then you go to impeachment, now you go to indictment, and none of them work, what's next? I mean, graph it out, man. We're speeding toward assassination, obviously, and no one will say that, but I don't know how you can reach that conclusion. You know what I mean? Like, they have decided, permanent Washington, both parties have decided that there's something about Trump that's so threatening to them, they just can't have him. They called him names. He won anyway. They impeached him twice on ridiculous pretenses. They fabricated a lot about what happened on January 6th in order to impeach him again. It didn't work. He came back. Then they indicted him. It didn't work. He became more popular. Then they indicted him 3 more times. And every single time his popularity rose. So if you begin with criticism, then you go to protest, then you go to impeachment, now you go to indictment, and none of them work, what's next? I mean, graph it out, man. We're speeding toward assassination, obviously, and no one will say that, but I don't know how you can reach that conclusion. You know what I mean? Like, they have decided, permanent Washington, both parties have decided that there's something about Trump that's so threatening to them, they just can't have him. They called him names. He won anyway. They impeached him.
Yeah. I mean, he's saying there what a lot of people have been wondering. I mean, what are they not willing to do? I'm not saying that it is as he just described, but obviously you're going to ask that question. mean, if you're framing somebody as literally a threat to the world, then what's off the table? You know, again, I think the old stochastic terrorism people are gonna kind of pull a bit of an ixnay on the mentioning the stochastic terrorism thing for a while. I don't think they're going to be very keen to talk about that. All right, let's see. Tucker was spot on there. Yeah. But again, it wasn't something that people were whispering about like in dark corners. Like people are openly saying, you know, hey, like it looks like there's nothing off the table here. And here's Elon Musk. He's all in for Trump now. I fully endorse President Trump and hope for his rapid recovery. I like Elon. He says, last time, this is Elon Musk again, last time America had a candidate this tough was Theodore Roosevelt. Yeah. Yeah, just to repeat, if you don't know, I mean, there was an assassination attempt on him at a speech, and he actually continued the speech, Theodore Roosevelt. And it looked like Trump kind of wanted to keep speaking too. But, you know, this day and age, Secret Service is going to get him out of there. Let's see. So here's a zoom in and close up of the full sequence from the footage available so far. I mean, you can clearly see see, there it is. The shots go, he touched the side of his face. It's obvious what happened. And look at that. This iconic image. Iconic image. There's nothing that they can do to him that he can't turn into a strength, to something iconic. It's amazing. Here, this is from Kira. This is the hardest picture of all time. I mean, come on. This is history. This is one of the most iconic moments in political history. Or I should say this is one of the most iconic pictures in American history. See, Stark says Secret Service has drones in the sky, maybe only for POTUS, not candidates. I don't know. You'd think, I mean, how much are drones? I mean, you know, you can get a drone for a couple of $100. Right? They're not very expensive. You'd assume they'd have them, especially if there's like rooftops around that people could be hiding on. Let's see. Stark says there's an aerial photo of the event by Geiger Capital on X. Yeah, maybe we'll look for that in a bit. Russell Brand says CNN has framed Trump shooting as an interruption. Okay. What would they lead in? What would they lead with if this was Biden? So here's the headline. Trump speech interrupted by Secret Service. Yeah. The Secret Service interrupted Donald Trump rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. So this is when they didn't realize that it's not business as usual today. And somebody got a hold of him and somebody said, hold on, we can't do this now. Okay, we'll do this every other day of the year. We can't do this right now. This does not look good. What would they lead with if this was Biden? Not that. It would be Biden, attempted assassination by far right MAGA lunatic, something like that. Let's expand this. An environment of hatred and hysteria has been created, and not by Trump, as they continually claim, but by the technocratic state. They'll probably find a way to blame him for this. Quote, Trump's ear assaults bullets. This ought to inspire a return to sanity, but it won't, it can't, because they have to cling on to power and the demonization of Trump. This is what they have instead. This is what they have instead of a vision for a better world. Yeah. I mean, and they didn't kill Trump, but they killed a Trump supporter. And on left-wing media, they're either not going to talk about that or they're going to say something really fucking sick. I mean, left-wing social media, you're going to see a lot of sick shit about that. They killed a Trump supporter. Well, the shooter killed a Trump supporter. But they're not going to bewail that. They're not going to bemoan that. They're not going to be sad about that. They'll celebrate it, just like they did with Ashley Babbitt. Gad sad. I wish that I were an American so I could vote for real Donald Trump. This will now become an iconic and historic photo. The enemies of liberty know that their corrupt system would be in peril if he wins. So all attempts are being taken by the real enemies of democracy to ensure that he does not win. Very dark day for the free world. Yeah, it is. This is the fruits of left-wing media, left-wing politics. This is the fruits of their labor. All right. All right, let's see if there's anything new coming in. Let's just refresh this. Let's see. Trump yelling, "Fight, fight," after getting grazed by a bullet in the ear, an inch from ending his life. No panic, no crawling on his knees to safety. The man stands up, faces the crowd, and yells, "Fight." Historic footage, just incredible. Let's see. Dr. Simone Gold. I'm in the center of Times Square. This is from 2 hours ago. Not a single video monitor reporting that President Trump has been shot. The depth of the censorship and propaganda is astounding. Let's see. Let's just go to home and see what's coming up. It's going to be all Trump stuff. Let's see. Jack Posobek says, how was a sniper with a full rifle kit allowed to bear crawl onto the closest roof to a presidential nominee? Again, there's going to be a lot of speculation about this. It seems awfully strange. Elon Musk, extreme incompetence, or was it deliberate? Either way, the SS leadership must resign. So that's be the the Secret Service leadership. Yeah, I can't disagree with that. Let's see. How the hell was such an obvious line of sight not secured? Elon Musk says exactly. Yeah, this isn't the speculation on this is not going to be going anywhere. Let's see. Barack Obama says there's absolutely no place for political violence in our democracy, blah, blah, blah. Maybe you guys shouldn't have been calling him Hitler for 8 years. So what does Scott Adams have to say here? Law enforcement will have their narrative, but from a hypnotist perspective, this was a probability-based assassination attempt. In 2020, I got mocked for predicting on old Twitter that, quote, Republicans would be hunted if Biden got elected. That was based on the Hitler rhetoric, and the rhetoric kept getting worse. When Biden ran for office in 2020 on the Fine People's hoax, or the Fine People hoax, that's when the persuasion became lethal, literally lethal. But only probably. It's the perfect crime. Cernovich saw it coming. Tucker Carlson called it. I just showed you that video a few minutes ago. Robert Kennedy Jr. must have seen it coming. Alex Jones predicted it. Yeah, I mean, This wasn't rocket science. I mean, what do you think is going to happen if you keep, and again, not like just obscure far left communist blogs or something, Democratic Socialists of America or something, but the most powerful voices in media, if they are calling somebody Hitler over and over and over again for year after year, hour after hour, minute after minute, second after second, they won't fucking give it up. If they're doing that, what do you think is going to happen in a country with hundreds of millions of people? I mean, you should be able to predict it. You know, you say somebody is the biggest threat to democracy and he's a threat to their lives because he's going to build a wall. I mean, come on. Let's see. All right, what is James O'Keefe having to say about this? Developing shooter found dead on rooftop with vantage point to stage. Secret Service tasks counter assault teams to cover all vantage points. Rooftops are the most obvious. Counter assault teams are outsourced professionals. Unlikely they make these mistakes. Even B team tasked to cover Trump. Glaring error or intentional overlook confirmed with former CA team organizer and trainer. While massive errors are possible, plausible intentional overlook of rooftop is more likely with CA team assignments given by the Secret Service. Who makes those possible? Deep state intel community? So, yeah, this is going to go on and on. It just seems very unlikely that it would even be possible, that it would be possible for it to go down like it did. Just a guy climbing onto a roof. Let's see. DC Drano says, scoop from a trained sniper. He says that whole thing was a fucking failure. The Secret Service got there slow. The SWAT team got there slow. And why the fuck did they keep him on the stage? He should have been off of there in 2 seconds. Yet they stand him up for what? Well, Trump didn't want to get off, but still, like if their job is to get him safe, to get him off the stage as soon as possible, you just move him. But he wasn't letting them. I think he would have finished the speech if he could have, to be honest. So he should have been off of there in 2 seconds, yet they stand him up for what? To give the shooter another shot? This is something I was talking about earlier when you look at the video, right? When he's doing the fist bump and he's saying, no, I want my shoes. They don't know if there's another shooter in the audience. Trump doesn't know that. So this is interesting, is it not? Look at the old Reagan assassination attempt. He was out of there in 0.2 seconds. Why didn't a drone pick him up? Why didn't another sniper pick him up? That's fucking bullshit. Yeah. I mean, if they didn't have drones, why not? I mean, they're cheap. You know, you could have like 5 of them up for like $1,000. Doesn't make a lot of sense. We cover the Boston Marathon better than we cover the Boston Marathon better than they cover our own effing president. If anybody says how great of a job the Secret Service or SWAT team did, they are full of shit. They sucked. They should be ashamed of themselves and all fucking fired. Yeah. Again, this is not a conversation. Like how this actually happened is not going to be a conversation that goes away anytime soon. I wonder what RFK Jr. has to say about it. I bet you he'll have something really interesting to say. Okay, this is interesting. Patrick Bet David. To those saying the election is over and that Trump will win by a landslide, you're being naive. Here are my concerns. 1, he must first stay alive in order to win. Well, that's the thing. I mean, they've already taken one shot at him. Will they take another? 2, there's a potential leak in Secret Service and protection of the president. Something went wrong there. Very wrong. Too many blind spots. There needs to be a better system of protection. One bystander said he saw a shooter. So we've already watched this video, but I'll read it. A shooter climbing up on top of the building. He told Secret Service and police, but they didn't react for several minutes. A PMC needs to be hired to protect the president. Someone like an Eric Prince from Blackwater, private military contractor, PMC. Sounds like he needs it, doesn't it? It sounds like that might be a really good idea for Trump, because that was a massive failure. A massive failure. Again, I want to know what you guys think about this. Rumble, you're awful quiet. I want to hear what Rumble has to say. See, stage and AV security team needs to be upgraded. I understand for optics not wanting to put bulletproof glass in front of a president when he speaks. There's no way I'm running stage security and AV. There's no way if I'm running stage security and AV, a shooter should have any chance of getting an angle from the side or the back. The biggest stage and AV companies in America who support high-risk targets, political leaders, and there's no bigger target than Trump. I think we all understand that, right? Need to reach out to offer strategies. This is insane. 4, RNC needs to double down on end-to-end security in Milwaukee. Multiple bomb squad teams need to inspect the Pfizer Forum Arena. A redundant inspection to inspect the inspectors for any possible blind spots. RNC is only a few days away. QCing those who QC on steroids. An immediate tweet, text, and email needs to go to the entire base to raise money. People need to know how to support, money, volunteer, expertise, protection, etc. Future looks bright, but only the paranoid survive. I mean, that's such a great point, isn't it? Because we were just discussing earlier. I mean, we've been talking for ages. What is the bottom? Like, what is the thing that they won't resort to with everything they've done to try and destroy Trump? Well, what happened today was the thing we were wondering about. We were questioning. Again, we don't know if this was a lone lunatic, some lone Antifa or something like that. We don't know if there was maybe something else going on. But we speculated about, I mean, the people that have been publicly trying to take him down, what would they, is there anything they wouldn't stoop to, right? And you think they're going to quit now? Sorry. Let's see. James Curtis says Trump needs to hire his own security. Yeah, I think he'll be on that right away. All right. All right. So I think let's go do one more checkup and see if there's been any updates on like the major news outlets. And then we'll probably call it a day. Okay, so Trump's issued a statement. Let's take a look at this. He says, I want to thank the United States Secret Service and all of law enforcement for their rapid response on the shooting that took place in Butler, Pennsylvania. Most importantly, I want to extend my condolences to the family of the person at the rally who was killed, and also to the family of another person that was badly injured. It is incredible that such an act can take place in our country. Nothing is known at this time about the shooter, who is now dead. I was shot with a bullet that pierced the upper part of my right ear. I knew immediately that something was wrong and that I heard a whizzing sound, shots, and immediately felt the bullet ripping through the skin. Much bleeding took place, so I realized then what was happening. God bless America. Jeez, I mean, it really is unbelievable. You speculate that, you know, what can happen? What can happen with just all of the insane delusional derangement that's been stirred up around him? But then when it actually happens, it's like, holy shit. Jesus. All right. let's see if there's anything. I'm going to just refresh this, see if there's anything new that came in, and if there's anything of interest, we'll look at it. If not, I think we'll move on, or we'll shut down the stream. Quartering says, "Rest in piss." So yeah, that is the guy. Definitely the guy that we saw in the video earlier. And that does not appear to be the picture of the guy that was circling around. They were saying he was allegedly Antifa, whatever. I wouldn't be surprised if this guy is, but we don't know yet. We'll find out more, hopefully. But you never know, because I mean, the media has a real way of obscuring details that you'd like to know these days, doesn't it? Let's see this from Vivek Ramaswamy. First, they sued him. I mean, this is going through a lot of people's minds right now, isn't it? First, they sued him. Then they prosecuted him. Then they tried to take him off the ballot. The only thing more tragic than what just happened is that, if we're being honest, it wasn't totally a shock. Yeah, a lot of people have been expecting it. Biden's inevitable ritual condemnation of political violence today, when it comes, will be insufficient and irrelevant. So this is before Biden made his statement. No amount of verbiage today changes the toxic national climate that led to this tragedy. Apoorva and I mourn for the rally attendee that was apparently killed by the shooter. We believe the fact that President Trump is safe right now is nothing short of an act of God. My heart tells me God intervened not just for Trump, but for our nation. Today, the future survival of the United States of America came down to less than a hair's width in the path of a bullet. Yeah, and let's not forget, somebody was killed, and there's another person apparently grievously injured. If any good comes of today, let it be this. Americans just had the chance to see our next president's true character, unvarnished. He took the fire, he took the hit, he felt the blood, and then he stood right back up for the people he was put there to lead. Regardless of who you vote for, let's unite around the truth that what happened today is unacceptable now and forever. May we all remember Thomas Jefferson's words 225 years ago. A little patience, and we shall see the reign of witches pass over. Their spells dissolve, and the people, recovering their true sight, restore their government to its true principles. It is true that in the meantime we are suffering deeply in spirit and incurring the horrors of a war and long oppressions. And if we feel their power just sufficiently to hoop us together, it will be the happiest situation in which we can exist. If the game runs sometimes against us, we must have patience till luck turns, and then we shall have an opportunity of winning back the principles we have lost. For this is a game where principles are at stake. So that's from Vivek. All right. So I'll take a look at the chat quick, and then I think we'll close it down. Stark says this event may galvanize more like this. This event may galvanize more like this. Well, this is going to be a closing of the ranks, obviously. Right? This will affect the election. I mean, fuck, this image, this iconic image is going to affect the election. But yeah, it will be galvanizing, obviously. You know? I mean, the one thing that was left that people had been talking about, I think Vivek talked about it, Tucker talked about it, and 1 million people like me on the internet talked about it. You know, it's the one place they hadn't gone yet. So it will be galvanizing. And again, this will affect the election. Absolutely will. My instincts tell me that the election's over now, right? It doesn't matter who they put up against them. But again, it's not like this happened and then everything else is going to stop. Hell no. Dr. Cheryl says Trump just won the election, if nothing else, as long as they don't succeed in killing him first. Well, will this be the last attempt? That's the question, right? And again, this wasn't the first either. 2016 Donald Trump Las Vegas rally incident. Michael Steven Sanford attempted to grab the pistol of a Las Vegas Metropolitan Police officer providing security for the event. The guy jumped on stage, tried to grab a gun. You know what he wanted to do, right? So this wasn't the first attempt. James Curtis says the man who was shot and killed, we're not talking about the shooter here, was with 5 other people, 2 of which were hysterical. The other were probably in shock. Some lunatic took the life of a husband and father. Yeah. I would say stay away from left-wing social media today, because you're going to see a lot of shit that will just steal your soul, you know? You don't want to look into the abyss, because when you look into the abyss, as you know, it looks back into you and it can change you. I would stay away from that stuff today. All right. So I think that's it, folks. So it is, what is it? Is it Saturday today? All right. I hope everybody has a great weekend. I'm sure I'll do more coverage of this as more information comes out. And yeah, anyway, we'll see you. I think in any case, I'll be live tomorrow night at 6 o'clock Pacific time. So probably go for 2 to 3 hours tomorrow night. And if you missed the last night's live stream, that's out now as well. So you can catch that. All right, everybody. See you next time.